Playboy, you made that beat.
You at, and then we're gonna roll it from there. It's on you, Coach.
All right. Well, I've John Allen, I'm a head coach at Marion High School, been there for about to start my 18th year. Been a head coach for 30, uh, previously at Divine and Jourdanton, all at the 3A level. Um, Played a little college basketball at a place called Southwest Texas back in the day, and just love what I do and got a few more years to do it, I think. So, yeah.
Well, I skipped over something 2 years ago, and I want to kind of catch back up. I didn't realize it, and so I was doing some research and just trying to look for your bio. I did not know you were part of the 500 Club.
I am, yeah. I'm close to about 550 now, somewhere in there. I don't know. Yeah. Well, thanks. I appreciate it. It's been been doing it for a long time. I don't know if that means I'm good or just been in it a long time. How does that sound?
No, Coach. Seriously, I appreciate you being humble. Now you're one of the good ones. That's why I keep making sure, as long as I'm doing what I'm doing, I want to make sure I have interviews with you every year. So I want to make this an annual thing, if that's possible.
Yes, sir.
Let Richard start with his questions first.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, since you've been a head coach for so long, Coach, not just the years that you've been a head coach, but the years that took you to get to that point, from a high school coach's perspective, how much has the game changed in your eyes since you've been coaching, and even back to when you were playing?
Sure. Uh, a little and a lot, I guess would be a good way of putting it. I can go back to when I was in high school. I'm a little old, so when I was in high school, we didn't even have a 3-point shot yet. So I graduated high school in 1987. I think 3-point shot came in '88 in high school. So when I went to college to play, I had to learn how to shoot a 3-point shot. Like I didn't even shooting from that distance didn't even make sense because everything was worth two. So that changed. Obviously, that's changed the game a lot. But since I've been coaching, man, I was an old Bob Knight pass screen away, low, two post players, high low sets, that kind of thing. I've been a man defensive guy for my whole career, so that really hadn't changed for me a whole lot as far as the game itself. Uh, Pace of play has picked up, obviously. The way they consider positionless basketball now. I'm not a big advocate of the positionless basketball. I'm still a big point guard, wing, and some post players. I mean, I'll play a 5-out system now more so, but I would say just for me, screening away and to on-ball screens, to handoffs, to um, slip screens, ghost screens, all that stuff. That's changed a lot. I would say technology, obviously, with Huddle and being able to film stuff is made that life easier. Um, but I still feel I coach the same way, but uh, obviously the game and athletes have gotten better, obviously too. So, but I still think I coach fairly much the same way as I did when I started. But just I try to evolve with the game. I definitely didn't stay. I definitely don't pass and screen away anymore. So yeah, it's changed quite a bit.
Okay, go ahead, Mike.
It's kind of a piggyback off his question. Where do you see the future of basketball going as a whole?
Oh, that's a great question. Um, I don't know. I like where it's at. I mean, I hope it doesn't change too much. I highly foresee high school basketball probably, instituting the shot clock, which it already has in some other states. I think that's probably inevitable. Not a big fan of it, but it is where we are, I think, in the game. Um, but I like the rules of basketball. I wish the NBA would play the same rules that everybody else plays in, make their game a little better. But I like the rules in high school and college basketball. So I hope that doesn't change much. But I don't know. I mean, I like where it's at. I don't, like I said, besides the shot clock being entered into high school, it's hard to say where I think it might go. But I mean, it's changed a lot since I've been coaching and playing, so it definitely could change.
Thank you.
All right, Coach. So we talked a little bit about the 500 wins, and if I'm correct, you were been at Marion High School for the last, or Marion and Marion ISD for the last 17 years.
Right.
How were you able to do that? And I believe last time we talked, you said you only had 3 losing seasons as far as you didn't make the playoffs, losing seasons wise.
Right.
But you've been
That's correct.
you've been making the playoffs every year since I've known you, especially.
Yeah.
What do you accredit that your longevity there and being so successful?
Uh, Good kids help, for sure. Um, I've been very fortunate with the athletic directors I've had. At a 3A school, I don't coach football anymore. I used to. When I first got here, I coached football, but I was always able to have my basketball kids in the athletic period in during off season. And there's a lot of programs out there that don't get that luxury, especially at the 3A level. Kids are doing lifting weights and running every day, and I'm able to be in the gym every day. And so it gives me that chance with those kids that don't play football to, just develop their skills in general. I mean, we get from August till we start at, late October, early November, to improve on skills. And it's helped us tremendously. Just like I said, having a boss that allows me to do that. And I think I think I know the game too, but I think it's being able to get those kids in the gym daily and getting reps and not wasting time doing something else that, basketball being a skill sport, you gotta improve your skill. And if you're lifting weights and running every day instead of being in the gym, it makes it really hard.
Then I have a second part to that question. How are you so, like, I've seen you coach, and like I told you, for the last 6 years, I've watched you. Your kids are so bought into Marion basketball. What are you doing over there to make these guys buy in so much? Like no, coach, your eighth graders are bought in.
I hear you. I hear you. You know, Success helps. I mean, kids seeing us win, wanting to be part of the program. You'd be amazed how many kids I cut. I mean, I hate to say that. I do have to cut kids that want to play, that want to be in the program. But to answer your question, let- since I've been there, players have bought in, number one. Uh, I think because I care. I know that may sound cliche, but I definitely care about basketball a lot. And I think the coaches they might have had before that in Marion didn't care as much. I would not say they didn't care about kids, but maybe didn't care as much about the basketball program itself. And I think I instilled that. And then back to what I was saying about my off-season program, I really put it on those my upperclassmen to uh, show the younger kids how we do things. And when those upperclassmen do that, the younger ones just automatically buy in. Like I've had kids that come from junior high that might have been attitude problems and didn't listen to the junior high coach or such. But when they get to me, that their attitude changes because they see the older guys buying in, they see what they're doing, and they just fall in line. And I tell them that every year that I've had kids come in as freshmen, might be the worst player that I've ever had, and by the time they're senior, they might be the best player I've ever had. And it's all a testament to them wanting to be good. I always tell them, that the program's going to be as good as they are. Has very little to do with me. I'm going to try to put them in the right position to win. But if they're putting in the work and doing what I ask, good things usually happen. And that's kind of I hope that's what it is. I mean, I don't know. My wife tells me I'm mean to them, but I don't think that's the case. But but no, I really want them to buy in and tell them if they want success, it's going to come from them, and I will give them all the tools to be successful.
From your success, it shows. It shows. So you're doing a great job. Please continue. Please continue. Go ahead, Rich.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
And you were just talking about the development and your off-season program, and on our previous show that we had last week, we talked about the importance of tournament teams communicating with the high schools and stuff to just kind of see what the high school coaches need from us. What are some of the most important things that tournament team coaches can do to help the high school players and coaches meet those goals?
Man, letting them play would be a big one to me. You know, if they're playing for your team, get them in the game and get them playing experience. The pace of play is so much faster, I think, in those tournament teams. It helped I have two sons that went through, played for me and played for tournament teams as well in the summer. And what it did for them was just help them learn how to play faster, and, you know, be able to compete against better athletes, you know, that they normally probably wouldn't see in their high school team against high school teams. So for me, it's, you know, let them develop their skills. Obviously, I'm not too concerned about the team aspect of it because, you know, his philosophy, or that, you know, that coach's philosophy and mine are going to be different anyway. So to me, and it's also good to learn different how to play for different coaches and things. But for them, you know, if I'm talking to a coach who I see right in front of me, that has some of my players, I would just say, get them to play faster and play with confidence. And, you know, I think the rest takes care of itself. And I think, and I'm getting that, you know, he does a great job with the kids that he's got of mine right now. My big boy Bonji is coming a long way. I appreciate you on that one. So yeah, just, you know, just giving them confidence and letting them see what it's like to play. Because some of them, you know, he's got some of my JV kids playing for him, and you know, they may not play as much for me. And so getting in a game and getting that game experience, you can't beat that.
Go, Mike.
You talked about weight room and conditioning, but my question is, in relation to basketball, what are your thoughts and feelings in regards to weight training and conditioning?
Very important. I mean, we do it. I mean, what we do now is, you know, I've learned a lot. I've grown a lot as a coach over the years, and figured out that, you know, wasting time, you know, in the off season, we only can be in the gym during school hours to coach. You know, we can do open gyms and things like that. But since COVID, and I kind of started this before COVID, you know, don't tell anybody, but but we lift in the morning. So we lift before school. So our school day starts at 8:25. We show up at the weight room at 7:30, not too terribly early, so the kids don't I'm not waking them up at 6 a.m. or anything. But we lift. You know, we've got a strength. We are very fortunate in Marion to have a real strength and conditioning coach who's been at the collegiate level at Texas State, and now is coaching our kids. And so he gears workouts for basketball players. You know, if I tell him, hey, I want to work on our jumping, he puts in a, you know, more legs and jump workouts and power movements for that. So we lift 3 days a week. We lift Monday, Wednesday, Friday right now until the season starts, and then we'll lift twice a week during the season just to maintain what we've got. But no, I think strength and conditioning are huge, and I've been doing it since I played. You know, I played in college, so I know what it means to be strong. I was not a big person, and being strong in the weight room helped me, you know, compete at that level. And so I definitely teach that to my kids and tell them all the time. It's like, if you want to play at the next level, you got to be an athlete. If you're not an athlete, they ain't gonna look at you. Doesn't matter. You can shoot the lights out, but if you're 5'10" and weigh 100 pounds, ain't no college coach gonna look at you. So being in the weight room is a big thing for me.
Thank you.
All right, Coach. Let's kind of rewind. Last year, you guys were in the regional quarterfinals. Great game with Poth. That was the second time you saw those guys.
Yeah.
and you made a great, again, it started off rough for you, but you made a great run at the end. Do you think just seeing them twice was the thing, or would you were the guys shell shocked from the first game? Because I thought your run at the end was like, man, you needed 2 more minutes, you would have won that game, Coach.
Well, you need to take the first 4 minutes away from the game, and I think we win it. Uh, I, uh, I took the blame on that. I'll tell you exactly what I did in that game. We played them early, and I wanted to play them early because I thought there was a really good chance we would see them in the playoffs, and I wanted to be, have our kids be ready for them. And they got better from the first time we played them. I will say, I'm gonna give them credit. They definitely got better from the first time we played them till now, and so did we. But what I did watching, I mean, I probably had, besides the game we played them, I probably had 5 or 6 films on them going into that game. And what we scouted and what we got in that game were two different things. They had two bigs that couldn't hit the broadside of a barn in the games that I had on film and playing them. And we play that game. And so we're not guarding them. And they hit, I don't know what they hit, 2 or 3 threes there, 4, thank you, early. And, so my game plan goes out the window. Now we got to guard those guys. And so when we started guarding them, we could play with them. It wasn't that I didn't think we could guard them. I was more concerned about the other better players that they did have that we didn't match up as well with, and we were going to have help. And so me not guarding them early, that was just a game plan backfire, and they got that 11, 12-point lead in that first quarter, and we were playing catch up the rest of the way. I thought we played well the rest of the way too, but I literally, that was, to me, I thought that was the difference in the game. Just my thought, my game plan going into it, thinking we're not going to guard those guys from the 3-point line, make them, because they're big kids, make them drive or whatever, and it backfired on me.
So you kind of answered the question a little bit, or maybe you kind of, for yet last year you wanted to. How do you feel about seeing teams that you possibly can see in the playoffs early in the season and then playing them twice?
I don't mind playing twice. 3 times is the one I don't like over the 2 times. Playing them once, and if we win or they win, I don't. That doesn't affect me. I've done it. I mean, it's probably happened to me many. I couldn't even tell you how many times in my career that I've met somebody in the playoffs that I played in the regular season. So really, it's only, I would say Poth might be the only one um, that I didn't do as well against. I guess maybe would be a way of putting it. But like I said, I thought we still played a good game. It's just the way we, game plan for them didn't work out. But no, I don't. I'm not a big, like I said, for me, I thought it was a good thing to play them early, just so we could see them, so we wouldn't be scared of them or we wouldn't be worried about them, type of thing. So yeah, no, I don't. I know some coaches do. There's a guy. I'll mention the school guy down south around Corpus area doesn't like to play anybody in 3A early in the year because he doesn't want to see him in the playoffs. So I mean, in case he sees him in the playoffs. So uh, yeah, so everybody's a little different, I guess, on that.
How many players do you have currently, and how do you feel about your players, because you're a 3A, having to play multiple sports?
I mean, I don't feel bad. I mean, it is. I literally have always had football players. Very rarely have I had a whole team in my off season. I've had better years. There's certain years where I have maybe 1 or 2. And this year I only have 2 playing football that are going to be big contributors to us on varsity. Maybe 3. There's probably 3. I take it back. But I've got 5 right now in my off season that are for sure varsity players and going to get playing time. So that helps. I mean, those guys are going to get a lot better because they get to play together every day. When I do team stuff, those 5 are going to be playing together. I scrimmage every Friday, just live scrimmage against my sub vars. I put those 5 guys out there in my sub varsities and we play and just let the clock go. And I told someone the other day I'll pat our guys on the back a little bit. We scored 127 points in 3.5 quarters of a running clock. playing our sub varsities, and we couldn't score 80 last year with that same format. So our guys have gotten better. They're getting bigger and stronger. So with what I got, we do really well. And then when those other guys come in, we just plug them in and move on. That sometimes it takes them a little while to just get in basketball shape, but no, playing football for some kids, it's good for them because it makes them a little tougher. It's not, I don't think football is for every kid, but for some that play it, no, I definitely don't hold it against them. If they can play, they can play, so yeah, so I don't mind it. I don't mind sharing athletes if that's what you're asking. No.
Well, I'm going to change gears a little bit because I think we all work with kids from all age groups and all that. So I know part of our audience is going to be younger kids, kids maybe in middle school. What advice can you give middle school age basketball players to get them ready for high school? Because high school is going to be different for them, high school basketball. What advice do you think you could give middle school age kids?
My biggest advice is just play. I mean, get a ball in your hand and play. I mean, I don't, if it's in the driveway with your dad, if it's, on a playground, if it's in a gym, on a team, the more they do, the better off they're going to be. I let my junior high coach just coach. I used to be in the junior high athletic period, but I don't get that luxury anymore. But so, I tell my junior high coaches what I want them to do, and I let them coach. But, to those kids, man, just as much as they can get in the gym and shoot or dribble or, whatever with a basketball, I'll do it. I think that's the big thing. I want to see kids when they get to me have enough skill to make a layup on both sides and be able to dribble with both hands. If they can do that, I can fix anything or, get them to where I want them to be, by the time they graduate or whatever. But yeah, just for them, play, as much as you can when you can. Yeah.
Great. Mike?
You spoke earlier about using your upperclassmen where the younger classmen are concerned, right? So season ends from March through August before you get your boys back. What off-season measures do you implement and instill as you're already looking toward November through February, November through March for that next season, without giving away all the nuggets in the gold mine?
You know, we still do it pretty much the same way we do it in the fall. I mean, we'll go back to, if we can, we'll go back to morning workouts where we can still be in the gym during the athletic period. We don't get to do it as much. Sometimes football decides they want to start lifting in the morning because they start doing spring football during their athletic period. We don't have the luxury of having a lot of weight. We do have 2 weight rooms, but so it's a little harder to do it the same way. But as far as developing from that point, very similar. I want them to work on themselves. I always tell them, I said, between now and when I see you again, I want you to get better. So, because if you get better, the team gets better. So to me, it's all about them developing their own skill level, figuring out if they were bad at, I kind of give them a blueprint. This is what you were not as good at this year. This is where I'd like to see you next year. And hopefully they take that to heart and work on those things. So to me, it always, I use a Seinfeld reference, the summer of George. I use it as the summer of themselves. It's time to improve yourself and get as good as you can get. And if you improve, man, that's going to make our team that much better.
Okay. So, this year was the realignment for a lot of schools. You guys in your district, you got a new team, YMLA. And then, of course, you saw your neighboring schools, New Braunfels moved, and John Jay and all those guys. How do you feel about the realignment? And does it help you at all or give you a different style of play?
We only have 5 teams in our district, and I'm going to say all 5 teams could make the playoffs. So our district's going to be tough this year. I mean, us, Cole, Randolph, YMLA, Great Hearts, Northern Oaks got everybody back off of their team that made the playoffs last year. So they're no slouch. They used to be kind of the whooping boy, and not anymore. So yeah, I could see us being first or fourth again. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I'm hoping we're closer to the top than the bottom, but there's some good teams in our district. For other people, I don't really pay attention a whole lot to what uh, happens to other schools around us. I take one. You asked me what drives our culture or what we do. I worry about us. I truly do. I practice for us and everything I do. I don't think about other teams a whole lot until we're about to play them, and I'll scout them and get a game plan together, and then we'll play that team. Yeah, I don't try to look too far in the future when it comes to that kind of stuff. So we're gonna be in a tough district. There's no doubt. I like our schedule. I finally got our schedule filled out this last week. I was missing a tournament there, and I got one. So um, I think uh, realignment's it's good for us for two reasons. And we've always been, ever since I've been here, we've been against with Cole and Randolph, and they're always perennial powerhouses, and we've kind of been able to hang with them over the years. It helps us. I think our district sometimes, I, the reason, you asked about my playoff success. The reason we win playoff games, I think, is because our district is so tough. I feel like we're playing playoff games sometimes. So it helps us to be in the district that we're in.
Okay, one more.
Iron sharpens iron.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. And they do it. Coach, he got his boys competing at a high level. All right, we talked about scouting a little bit. I heard you mention it this time, and you mentioned last time we talked. How much scouting do you do, and then how much do you allow your players to be part of that scouting?
Good question. Um, early in the year, I don't scout a whole lot. Preseason, pre-district teams. If I can get a film on them or something, I will, just to look at them. And on our what's good about Huddle is the most amazing thing is the kids can watch what I watch, and so I put a lot of emphasis, a lot of onus on them to watch film at home. On their phone. They're always on their phone anyway. They can watch Huddle on their phone. So as a team, we don't. I wouldn't say probably in district to playoffs, we'll spend more time watching film and me with the team going through film, but pre-district not much at all. And I tell kids like if we're off or something and somebody's playing nearby, I always tell the guys, hey, so and so's playing, at Randolph. Y'all want to go watch that game? A lot of them will go do that. They can drive or whatever. They'll go watch. Um, but game planning, I always tell them our game plan and what we're going to do. I always want them to know exactly, what the other team does. And so we especially like I said, district and playoffs, we scout everybody. We'll have at least two films on every district team. Playoff teams will get as many as we can. So we definitely want to know who we play.
Okay, Richard.
Well, I'm going to go back to the kids that are watching this show because I think Coach Daniel brought it up last show about being a student athlete. From a high school coach's perspective, can you speak on the importance of being a good student athlete for these kids, especially the ones that aspire to play at the next level?
Oh, for sure. Well, I'm a teacher first, so I mean, I don't have a job unless I'm a teacher. So I teach government economics, so I'm doing that too. But no, academics, I tell kids all the time, we check their grades. We're on a 9-week system for our grading. Now we still have to check grades at 6 weeks for eligibility and things like that. But we'll do grade checks every 3 weeks, and we have some jogging reminders to we call it jog the memory if they're not doing so well at 3 weeks. To remind them that they can't play basketball if they're not passing their classes. So I don't talk to teachers for them or anything like that. That's on them. They're the student, but I definitely remind them, if they want to play basketball, they got to be a student first. So I definitely take the student athlete part very seriously, and the kids know it. They know it's coming. If when grade checks are there, they're lined up waiting to see whose name's called if might have to run for not doing so well in their classes. So they know they know that it's important, and it's just part of what we've kind of instilled in our program. But to answer to your question, the young kids, it's everything. I mean, if you're not doing well in school, I don't think too many college coaches are going to be too. You're not going to. You might go play at junior college somewhere if you're very talented. If you're talented athletically, but if you're not academically sound, you're not. The big schools aren't going to look at you for sure.
What advice and words of wisdom would you give a brand new high school varsity basketball coach?
That's a great question. Brand new high school varsity coach. Be yourself, number one. Don't compromise what you think it takes to be successful. Take advice from everybody. I don't know everything. I've learned a lot and stole a lot. If you talk to any basketball coach, they stole something from somebody else. So don't be naive enough to think that you know everything. But on the flip side of that, do what you do. I tell coaches that all the time. If you're a 2-3 zone guy, then be the best 2-3 zone guy you can be. If you're a, run and jump trap guy, be the best at that you can be. And I tell people all the time, if you can get your kids to think what you do is the best, then they'll buy in and be the best at that. And I truly believe, our kids buying into what we do offensively, defensively. I had a team, the team I had 3 years ago went to the regional final. We had a lot of great seniors, a lot of great athletes on that team. And I told them, I said, you guys aren't going to get to play the same amount. I said, but if you do what I ask you to do and do it as best you can, without question, we're going to be successful. And we were. I mean, they were good players, and some of them sat on the bench half the game, but when they got called on to play, they played. So, advice to a coach, like I said, be consistent is a good word. I treat everybody the same way, and I think our kids know that. I don't give preferential treatment to a better athlete over the best player over the worst player type thing. So, being consistent with your discipline, being consistent with what you're teaching them, I think goes a long way. And always success helps along the way too. But do what you do and do it the best you can.
Thank you.
All right, Coach, last question. I got a chance to watch you play last year, and I told you when you played Cole the last game there, and I saw you at the playoffs also. I told you this. I think you're going to have a great group because you got a lot of guys coming back, you informed me. Are there any players that you want to mention real quick that are coming up on any accolades, i.e. rebounding, leader, or assist, or anything like that?
I don't, Travis would probably be my one. I'd have to look. I'm not a big stats guy. I do pay attention, if I think they're coming close to breaking a record of some sort. But man, that's a great question. Nobody's really averaged a lot of points or a lot of rebounds. They're all pretty steady. I put us in the Dean Smith, North Carolina kind of concept. I've had very few teams where one guy just dominates, a la, Reichen Autry a few years ago for me, who's our all-time leading scorer now at Marion. But I mean, they're all great kids. Like I said, Travis has been on varsity since he was a freshman, Travis Randall. I got my Braden Fleming, my transfer last year that played for me. He's coming back. I've got two or three others that have been playing. Davey Laguna is going to be a senior, played 3 years for me. I mean, not big time stats there. I'll just play hard and do the little things that make us good. I wish I had some stat breakers and that kind of thing, but I don't think no one right now. Travis might creep on some stuff next year. If he has a good year this year, but no, I don't. But they're just great kids. Love coaching them.
Well, again, you do a great job. I can't give you your flowers enough. And just like I told you at that post game, I know, and one, I appreciate you even talking to me after the game, because I know it was like, you guys don't like to talk to anybody after y'all lose. I was like, don't talk to me right now, leave me alone. So for me, again, I appreciate our relationship, and you've always been truthful and candid with me. And again, I hope we can continue to do that. And I'm going to make sure we spotlight you guys this year. I will be at a few of your games. I believe Coach Daniel will be at a few. So you will have you will have eyes on you. That's what I'm going to tell you. And so
I appreciate it. No, any exposure these guys get, I appreciate it. I will say, since I've been to Marion, we've gotten more, media type coverage than I ever got anywhere else I was at. So, no, I appreciate you guys taking the time to cover us and talk to us. I revel in the fact that you guys do that. I like it.
Well, again, like I told you, it goes with the way you guys win and how unselfish your players are. When I was younger and I had the little sharks, I had a few of your guys, and just to see them and to know your philosophy. You mentioned philosophy, to know what you were teaching them, and again, it teaches them to be unselfish. Your players were so unselfish. They did not mind making the extra pass, and like you just said, a lot of guys just play the right way of basketball to put the ball in the hole for the best basketball play, I guess I can say.
Appreciate it. No, that is true.
Thank you again.
Yes, sir.
Mike?
For me, it's a little personal, but just thank you, period. 3 years ago, you didn't know me from Adam and Eve. And, 3A school in Marion, small town, close-knit town. And you trusted your program and your boys to come to me over at the Sportsplex. And so thank you for that opportunity to work with them and grow with them. And so, this upcoming year, from Dylan Pardo and Ian Navarez on the JV groups, Bonji, who's coming back pissed off and hungry, we're still working on some things with him, but he's coming back understanding, like, dude, you're massive. Like, well, you are massive, and the stuff that you can do, that height, that size, that can't be taught, right? Jackson Missildine, understanding, pushing the envelope, tempo, right, being a floor general. And then, of course, Big T, right? Travis is coming back a different kind of animal. He had a phenomenal spring and summer, coach. I know you kept up, of course.
No, he's doing it, and he's asking me every day what he needs to do, and no, he's great. I wish I had 5 Travises. That would be amazing. So, no, I appreciate you too, Coach. Like I said, you just them playing, being around you and playing as much as they do, it's helped them tremendously.
Thank you again. Look, I'll be seeing you this season.
All right, man.
Rich?
And for me, I'm going to say this. Not enough people say this to individuals in public education like yourself. Thank you for your service. Thank you for helping to mold the young men that are going to be coming out of your school to make them great, productive members of society, and have a great season coming up.
I appreciate it. Thanks a lot.
And when you get a chance, Coach, we're going to sign off after this, but when you get a chance, send me that schedule. I got to add you to our list of.
I will. I'll send it. I've got it. I just finished it. I'll email it to you.
Definitely coming to that Cole game. I'm coming because I got listen. I got one more. I got my last guy, and that's Logan Beckstrom. So the good part is you don't have to worry about any Livingstons for the next 4 or 5 years. So they do got one more in the pipe. They got one more, but I don't know if he's going to go to Cole.
Trey Blackmore is going to be playing with my son at TLU now. He just transferred back to TLU.
That is awesome. That's awesome right there. Go ahead.
Yeah. So my son's going to be a senior, so they're going to be playing together this year. So be interesting. They had some battles back in high school, so it'll be good to see them play together.
I got to go watch some TLU games.
There you go.
I will. Yep. I'll take you up on that. Hey, but
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Coach. Have a good one, okay?
Thank you.
Playboy, you made that beat.